enthusiasm doesn't get the better of me. Those traitors need to suffer. Go for fortification. Better sleep with both eyes open. Damn it all! The door's sealed. We'll need to find another way in. Now this is just sloppy. If I wasn't already here to kill all these traitorous fools, I'd be forced to use one or two as an example to the rest. .36 cubed divided by the standard rate of fluid flow, and then you multiply by, is it 30 or, oh, hello. Look at the state of this poor fool. They just left her bleeding out? Exsanguination is an art. Where's the precision, the pride in their work? This is just embarrassing. There's a cultist behind you. Wait, surely she isn't with you. Fine. Just please keep her away from me. Oh, dear Archivist Clemens has been so strange lately. So distant, so agitated. And not his normal agitation, mind you. This is something different. Much worse. He's like a wire stretched beyond its breaking point. Never a harsh word to anyone, but being in his presence, well, it's as if his stress is infectious. Best not to push him. He's deeper in the facility, working on something he deemed to be of the utmost importance.
Either he is still below, continuing said work, or he is quite dead. And with all those cultists gallivanting about, I don't fancy his odds.
Please, with the way my so-called brethren are comporting themselves, he's more likely to die of boredom. If I was in charge here, all of you'd be dead. He soon will be.
Yes. I'm sure you'll kill them quite well. That's all right. That's all right. Blood is optional, regardless. The crazed people like your friend here have been sowing destruction throughout the range for days. I've seen few firsthand, but that isn't because they've gone. Rather, I believe they have become visibility deficient. You can attempt such, but if my current state is any indication, the cultists are unlikely to be sporting with you. Oh, there's no such thing as invisibility. I can only theorize that their visual forms were sent out of phase when they haphazardly tampered with pressurized N-rays.
Their actions are inexcusable. Science allows us to unveil the wonder of the rifts. We do not disrespect it. Now, is there any science around here we can use to find and kill them?
It's a shame the facility is in shambles. We've an N-ray scanner device that may render the cultists far easier for one to locate. If I'm still alive in a week, I'll put in a suggestion to the presiding bishop that N-ray scanners be standard issue. The scanner is an optical device designed to detect electrical signals and the N-rays given off by all living beings. Visible or not, the cultists still give off N-rays. It was stored nearby, but with the damage to the facility, you'll likely need to use the maintenance vent on the wall there behind the screen to get anywhere near it. Don't worry, I'll just be here in my deepening puddle of blood.
Don't make me a...
There's the N-ray device that Exemplar Foxworth mentioned.
Enemy moving into harm's way.
Torpificator at ready status. With both eyes open. Time to make a way.
You've opened the way forward. Very good work. Is that you, Presiding Bishop? I'm sorry, I haven't had time to clean up. It's so hard to get bloodstains out of our uniforms. My, I really must be in a bad way if you're being nice to me. You're usually about as pleasant as an acid bath.
Where are you going? Our task here is yet unfinished. There are still traitorous swine drawing breath. I suppose you know what you are doing, but we'll need to return eventually to finish this lot off. Look sharp, it's a fight.
Aggressor ahead.
Try to keep your guts on the inside, Commander.
Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
Either restore my life or avenge my death. That wasn't intentional. I'm alive. Who needs to die?
You there. You must leave. Is that a cultist with you?
Don't worry. I'm not like these idiots running around here haplessly. If I was here to kill you, it would be no random thing. You'd know it. Are we here to kill this guy, Commander? Good point. We'll kill him after we get the information.
I have nothing to say to the likes of you except if you attempt to interrupt my work, you will no doubt meet the same end as your fellows. Leave, and you may yet live.
This guy is hilarious. Can't wait to see the look on his face when he realizes how much more worried he should have been about me than all the other nonsense around here. That's a Glorious Dawn communication device. Our cells use them to send and receive encrypted messages.
Victor, I fully understand the importance of your work. This is exactly why I push you so. Your moral justifications for delaying your delivery are misguided. Dead is dead. What matter is it if their ends come in 1 minute or 3? If you seek to be humane in your duties, fine. So long as I get the explosives in time. But if we fail to act, the Order will be lost forever. Collateral damage was always inevitable, Victor. You knew this. And the longer you take in your laboratory, the greater your risk of being caught becomes. If that happens, you know what must be done. But I should remind you that such a failure will result in vastly more suffering for all parties involved. We need those explosives now, Victor. Let's finish this.
Our only salvation lies in annihilation.
Look sharp. It's a...
Check your scopes for combatant analysis.
Uh-oh, Commander.
Target analyzed.
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
Sharp enough. Hostile here. Combatant scan.
Look at the sad little sprat. It is
Look sharp. Look out, Commander. Don't make me avenge you. Recharge for mayhem.
I have a fix on their weaknesses.
Thought you agents were durable. Patch yourself up.
You, friend of friends, are a greater ally than any number of fellow scienticians. Oh, thank you very, very much for dealing with those cult... it seems you missed one.
What? Where? I thought we dispatched with all of those traitorous charlatans.
I can see it would be best for me to tactically overlook your comrade. Very well. I see you possess our N-ray scanner. Ooh, ingenious device. If I'd had it, I may have evaded being trapped here. Oh, I shouldn't have had to worry. Damn that Victor, and damn his hubris. Fitting that his experiment would cause so much strife that he would be untouched by the ensuing pandemonium. Pardon my excitement. It's been an eventful day. I don't know the specifics, only that Victor was performing a procedure utilizing processed N-rays. When those cultists flooded the range, they damaged the N-ray canisters. In the ensuing chaos, Victor's experiment was destroyed. I know some cultists were killed, but many more still live, moving unseen through the range. Survived is something of an overstatement. Most of the cultists died immediately upon exposure, and according to past experiments, those that haven't are experiencing accelerated organ liquefaction. I would be more sympathetic to their collective plight, and they not promise to insert every item in this room down my throat in reverse alphabetical order. Although it requires further investigation and experimentation, out of phase refers to a shift in the dimensional presence of these cultists. They are physically here, but only partially, hence their unseen state. It's fascinating. But the outstanding fear for my life has made it difficult to think scientifically. Because he refused to follow procedure. He didn't take an assistant or allow anyone to see his data, and consigned to oblivion. What a waste. Oh, believe me, this is more excitement than I ever wanted. I shall.
I never wanted this situation to escalate like this. You must understand. But now, all that I wanted is cast to the wind. There is but one option left to me. To save Arcadia, to ensure the future, we must both die. Because the Order cannot be hindered by war or by compromise. Any obstacles must be removed, as much as I regret the need to do so. If DeVries does not receive my explosive, she will resort to a violent assault. Many will die, pointlessly, and in agony. I can at least deliver them an instant, painless death. I thought this explosive vest would be an unnecessary precaution. All I can hope is that by blasting us both from the field of play, the Order shall find its way to truth. Want has nothing to do with it. I have very specific instructions on how to proceed in the face of contingencies such as yourself. And you cannot possibly understand whether I am or am not capable of martyrdom. You do not know my depth of character. At the end of all things, my decisions were predestined. I am not at liberty to divulge the reasoning behind my actions. You're not with the Order. You cannot understand why this would be. Could I explain, the words would be lost on you.
I beg to differ. I'd likely understand any analytical or theoretical justification you claim to have better than you do, scientician.
I heard tell of an Order operative recently being spotted in the field. A legendary figure who'd been absent for years. One who'd be eminently capable of understanding the difficult decisions that must be made for humankind's ascension. That's you, isn't it?
You are correct, Victor. I am the endpoint, and I am well equipped to understand your reasoning, should it be sound.
Very well, very well. I can spare words with you, explain my perspective. It won't prevent me from doing what I must. If the Order is not prevented from reaching its true potential and solves the universal equation, all scientific uncertainty and any associated suffering will end. But surely, over time, these deviations would subside? Though I do not seek the abolition of free will, no, humanity would do what is best for itself, I'm sure. DeVries opened my eyes. The Order is on the path to absolute truth, and if they are not interrupted, this truth can be pursued, the one right path for humanity revealed to us. Politics cannot bind us, uncertainty cannot strangle, and no one can be allowed to waltz in and hurl our plans into disarray. What? How do you not understand the present situation? What coward would strap an explosive device to himself? That's not all this. Helping DeVries, completing the work of my explosives is important. It matters. DeVries agrees. Augustine couldn't have done such a thing. She was on a secret mission at the time. I don't wish to believe you, but what you're saying has the ring of truth to it. I've been a fool going along with this farce. But it stops now. My relationship with Augustine is at an end.
This poor fool seemed intent on doing himself and us both. Impressive work convincing him otherwise. What say I have a go at him with my disemboweling knife? See what he knows. Might want to stand back. This could get messy. If I do it right. Now then, Victor. Let's you and me conversate about your friend and her plans. I knew the little fellow was lacking in fortitude, but I must admit to a certain inexplicable dismay at how quickly he passed. Maybe my enthusiasm just got the better of me. Still able to get what we needed, though. Seems he was trying to find a way to send explosive devices out of phase so they could remain undetected once placed. He was a little hard to understand at the end there, but I think he wanted to make sure the people were killed instantly and didn't suffer. As if that would have mattered to them. Of course I am. Just, a little more exertion than I was expecting. Need to learn to pace myself. Let's move on. I'm certain there's more killing to be done elsewhere.
My fellow Loyalists, it is time. Due to the Earth Directorate operatives' continued meddling, we must increment our timetable by a factor of hours, not days. Accordingly, our forces have taken over the monastery. Those I predetermined to be resilient to reason have been executed. The rest should not cause us trouble. I have locked the lift to prevent the agent from reaching the monastery, but the following code will grant you access. 34145. I will continue my work from here, supplying Augustine with everything she needs for our plan to succeed, and delaying the agent as I'm able to. May the results of our actions today secure a more prosperous tomorrow for our sacred order.
Swear I can't lie low for 20 years without everything in the order falling apart. Well, suppose we better head to the monastery now, yes?
Boy, damn it! We've killed every traitor in this place, but their treasonous scum of a hierarch wasn't among them. The leader of a cell. In this case, that would be Ziegler. And extinguishing him is obviously our next priority. They were operating under his orders. But since he wasn't here to lead them in person, they would have maintained regular contact using one of our communication devices. We should return to the one we saw earlier. It will hopefully yield some worthwhile information. This is it, the Dawn's communication device. Let's see what I can find on it. Not much, but there are a few encrypted messages from Ziegler reporting on a rift in Paradise Island he was sent to study. Idiot didn't even have enough respect to stay to kill me himself. Well, it's of no consequence. Now that I know where he is, let's go show him the error of his ways. I'm right behind you, but not in a threatening way.
We going to kill Hierarch Ziegler soon? My knife hand's getting itchy. Who can say? There was no indication that I've seen. I've interacted with him on occasion. Seemed a decent, loyal sort. As interested as I am to hear whatever sorry explanation he has, not sure I'll be able to control my rage when I see him to ask why before I remove his spleen. Maybe I'll start with his gallbladder? No, I think it's gotta be the spleen.
So, you decided the crew needed another cutthroat, did you? I don't mean to criticize the faults in your logic, but you realize Azza is a completely inefficient killer, yes? Well, do admit I've always wanted an understudy. Someone to pass on my vast knowledge of calculated murder and mayhem. But Azza? I'm uncertain she's the right choice to inherit it. However, perhaps you see something I yet haven't, and I should keep looking. I'll need to ponder this further. As you wish. Try not to perish horribly without me.
We did good by all the folk in Golden Ridge. If we hadn't eased the pressure between the Order and the troops at Outpost Opportunity, the kettle would have blown its top eventually. Instead, the ceasefire can remain in place, and folk can sleep soundly. Thank you. Marisol's something, huh? She had everyone fooled, and then she turns around, exposes Svoboda for what she is, and reveals herself to be the endpoint. What kind of name even is that? She reminds me of the serial heroes I wanted to be just like when I was a kid. I'd tell her if I thought she'd appreciate it. That's a step too far. And anyway, I think she'd pat me on the head and say, "That's nice, dear," like she's cooing at a Raptidon pup that fell asleep in its food bowl. Anyway, this is me saying I think she was a good get. Much better having her in our corner than staring down the barrel of her gun, that's for certain. She's probably already got bugs listening in on us, so we ought to just stop there. Trying real hard not to be insubordinate-like, Commander. But this Azza, she ain't right in the head. We got enough to worry about as it is, and adding this much chaos to our little crew can't end well. You sure we ought to be helping her? I'll try to keep an open mind, Commander. But if she comes at me with a knife, I ain't gonna be the one left bleeding. Anyway, appreciate you hearing me out. Heard the abbot trotted out some excuses for the hit on our base. Well, Auntie's base. Certainly didn't anticipate that he'd been entirely truthful neither. Won't bring back those we've lost, but at least we've avoided further conflict with the Order. For now. Commander, you got a minute to talk? I got some thoughts on this situation with the refugees. The number of folks seeking refuge from the war is, well, it's beyond what I expected. And beyond what the Order is capable of handling, seems like. Antes may not be faring much better here, but we could at least find enough work for these folk to buy some food. You sure? He seems more concerned with the Order's reputation than anything else. It's a tough situation, that's all I'm saying. But if the Order can't even manage tens of folk at their doorstep, they ain't gonna manage much better should they win the war. But nothing's ever really free, is it? I went through this myself when Auntie's Choice took over Tau Ceti. It took time to secure the merger, but once they did, we folk got the help we needed real quick. And all they wanted in return was the signing of an employment contract. Now, I ain't seeing any contracts in Matriarch's mercy. So what is the Order actually gaining by doing this? In all my years, I ain't encountered many folk who would extend a hand and expect nothing in return. I mean, I'd not have asked for your help with my graft if I didn't have something to offer in exchange. Well, maybe I misjudged the Earth Directorate after all. Anyhow, if the Order is in fact helping these folk with no hidden aims, then... well, I'll be the first to admit that there might just be merit in what they're selling. Appreciate you hearing me out.
Victor wasn't exactly the partner in crime I envisioned DeVries to have. Someone with a little more grit. That man back there? Reckon a tough crossword puzzle would have eventually sent him over the edge, even if we hadn't come along. And DeVries had him building a bomb. She obviously manipulated him into acting against his conscience. But he didn't leave us room to show him any grace neither. You ever wonder what might have happened if DeVries had let us in on her initial plan? Surely we wouldn't have been taken in by her rhetoric like Victor. Right? Hotshot Earth Directorate agent swoops in to liberate your colony, sets you on a new exciting path, and you're telling me you wouldn't have been a bit smitten? Good law. I was a kid with a crush, like you said. It wasn't serious. If anything, I wanted to be DeVries. After Triangulum, all I wanted was to do for other colonies what Augustine had done for mine. Still do, if I'm honest. Maybe not. Past 10 years have more or less proven that out. Thanks for letting me wax for a bit. We can get back to what we were doing now. Unless there was something else you needed. Marisol settling nicely? Well, I assume so. I'm actually a little scared to ask. She's like a character from the Zane and Buddy serials come to life. I mean, the end point? Tell me that don't just scream lead ne'er-do-well in a suspenseful two-parter. Maybe don't tell her I said that, though. I'm all for giving folks a chance, but a cultist, Commander? Really? Skills like a willingness to launch yourself into a rift, you mean? Yeah, very useful. Leaving all else aside, the problem is that we don't know this woman, and she's not giving us much cause to trust her. In fact, I say it's just the opposite. All right, Commander. I'll play nice, but only because you asked. Anyway, need something, Commander?
Marisol Delgado has been added to the ship roster and has claimed her quarters. This unit has also been informed by Agent Delgado that she is not to be disturbed while resting unless the ship is on fire, and even then only if it nears my quarters. The cultist known as Azza has been admitted to the ship roster. Among her registered weapons is what she refers to as her disemboweling knife. This unit reminds the commander that anticoagulants are your first line of defense when injury occurs.
Azza, you might follow a ruinous religious doctrine and be driven by irrational bloodthirsty urges, but you're a rather effective killer, and I respect that.
That means a lot, coming from such a ruthless purveyor of death. Wish you'd let yourself really get into it sometimes, though. Get your face and hands drenched in blood.
That sounds disgusting, dear. Though I do appreciate the sentiment.
Commander, if you've a moment, I wish to note my reservations regarding the Order member we seem to have brought into our fold. Setting aside my obvious concerns as an enemy of the Order, there's something devious about her. Something that sets her apart from her fellows. There is a bloodlessness to her nature. A killer's icy resolve. She's dangerous. That we do. But it's best if we not bring danger home to roost. That was all I had on that subject. Consider my concerns logged. Inez's grafts are unthinkable. Simply to get ahead, Auntie's Choice expected her to permanently manifest a Raptidon limb? A Crabble Claw? Sovereign's mercy. It appears she lives a life of constant self-maintenance, lest her grafts break down. Not to mention the discomfiture and pain of bearing a foreign edition. Not that it bothers me. She is an enemy of the Protectorate, after all. We would never afflict one of our own with such a fate. Your pet mechanical has been something of a nuisance lately. She bludgeoned me on multiple occasions, and earlier she came at me with a live electrical prod. I suspect I should be annoyed, yet I find myself nostalgic. It reminds me of my Academy pain tolerance seminars, minus the broken fingers. Though I know it to be a lost cause, I must ask, mightn't there be some way to teach that cultist some sovereign-forsaken manners? I caught her rifling through my belongings earlier, and though I gave her a stern admonishment, she merely walked off and said I was a boot-licking slackwit. Well, next time, if she expects to get off without a multiple-hour lecture on the sanctity of an arbiter's property, she'll be sorely mistaken.
If there's anything worse than my former fellow Protectorate subjects, it's corporate toadies.
Who exactly? Niles? He's fun to torment. I mean, he's equal parts enthusiastic and naive, even with all he's gone through. I find her amusing, in a best not to torment her or she'll kill us all kind of way, which I completely respect. Of course I do. What's not to like? To envy? Her style, her lethality? Oh, she's a professional for architect's sake. I wish I'd known about her department when I was growing up. Even as a child, I know they'd have seen my potential. Tristan's a standard issue arbiter, albeit with an extra slathering of arrogance, especially when it comes to ensuring the Protectorate's inane laws are followed without question. But as long as that ridiculously large hammer of his isn't pointed in my direction, I could watch him administer justice all day. Though he'd be loath to admit it, his propensity for violence almost matches my own. Not only does she possess more heart than your standard corporatist flunky, she's a great deal smarter as well. Don't tell her I said so. Such as? We are simply a group of enlightened individuals seeking to spread the truth of the rifts, despite our persecution by those who seek to keep the masses aimless and distraught.
Yes, Commander. Happy to provide unbiased observational data. Ah, your young colleague. Competent, practical, crackshot. Saddened by his years of isolation, but also honed like me. He would be a formidable target of assassination. Oh, he seems like a nice young man, dear. You want me to say something nice, dear? He has good taste in adventure serials, I suppose. Otherwise, no redeeming qualities. She has an aptitude for killing, although it's quantity over quality with her. I'm glad she's on our side, but I'm still sleeping with my goggles on proximity alert mode. I must admit I wrote off these corporatists as shallow bit obsessed simpletons. I still do on average, but she falls far outside their norm. Her model is a design classic, and the aftermarket mods she received from Niles are most impressive. We'd be dead many times over without her. She makes me laugh more than anyone. I'm not hearing a question. Another crack like that, and you might just find out. Our department employed a variety of methods to obviate hindrances and threats to the Order's efforts. We were considered wardens of the grand plan, helping correct it when needed. All of us are part of the plan. We follow the path intended for us by the architect. We should, at least. Now and then, some push back against their path, But it never ends well. Corrections can take time, even delay in the solving of the equation. That's where we came in. To get things, may all our endeavors yield expected results. Agent, what do you need? May all our travails add to the equation.